Hello everyone, this is Technorose. In this video I will show you how I manage all my Ethernet cables across the room, from the router to my laptop and PlayStation. And finally made everything clean and organized with proper cable management under the desk. First I started with the modem and router which were standing on the floor in my living room. To fix that I got a Wi-Fi shelf, it came with a manual, a few screws and parts that were easy to assemble. Maybe not that easy, because I never read manuals and I did put some parts backwards. After putting it together, I disconnected all the cables from the modem and router. I also bought a pack of 120 cable ties, each one 6 inches long, to organize everything and keep the wires from sticking out. It's nice that the pack comes with different colors, so I can match the cable ties with the color of each wire. The next step was to remove the old Ethernet cable and put down a floor cord cover to hide the new ones properly. Then I measured the distance from the Wi-Fi shelf to the corner of the door. But before that I needed to run the new Ethernet cable. As you can see, the old blue Ethernet cable was taped along the door frames with double-sided tape. And in my workroom, it was just lying on the floor, connected straight to my laptop. This blue one is just a standard budget Ethernet cable. It only supports up to 1 gigabit speed, so it's not that great for modern setups. These are Cat8 cables, 75 feet each. They support up to 40 gigabits per second and have shielding to reduce interference. I unpacked them right away and measured the distance from the Wi-Fi shelf to my laptop and PlayStation to see how I could run them along the walls and door frames, where the turns and corners would be, and how far each one needed to go. After wrapping the cables, I connected them to the modem and placed them inside the floor cord cover, where they fit perfectly. The floor cord cover installs with double-sided tape, so it's easy to set up and stays in place. As you remember, I already removed the blue Ethernet cable. For the new ones, I used adhesive cord clips. The pack comes with 60 pieces, and what's really nice is that they fit perfectly for the thickness of both white cables. In the spots where the cables bend the most, I added a few extra adhesive cord clips to make sure they stay in place securely. And I had only one option: to run the cables under the door. But for the door in the room, I have to decide to run the cable under the door using the leftover piece of floor cord cover or go around the door frame. Since I had already measured how far the cables could go from the modem, I decided to keep running them around the door frame instead. I thought I might run out of cable clips, but after finishing the whole setup, I still had just a couple left. Next, for my cable management, I got cord covers with a total length of 315 inches. Inside the box there were 2 double-sided tapes, a few connector pieces that join the covers together, and the part I was most worried about was that both cables wouldn't fit inside the cord cover. But it turned out perfectly. After that, I took the tape and started sticking it on the surface. I decided to place it on the baseboard, so later if I move out, I can easily remove the covers without damaging anything. If I had to stack them on the wall, it would have pulled off the paint. Getting closer to my desk, I was lucky again. The length of the cord covers was just enough to reach the setup. Using cable ties, I secured both cables on one side of the desk leg. The original tape wasn't enough, so I used a Gorilla one to stick the cord cover. So, the moment of truth: did I measure the cable length for the PlayStation and laptop just right? Before we get to it, I have to clean up my desk and leave only the cables. The last part was to hide the cables under the desk, using what I had left. So before we see the final result, let's take a look at where we started. In the end, it worked out perfectly, and I even have some extra length for my devices. The next step was installing the Anchor flat plug power strip. It's a 10-in-1 model with 6 AC outlets, 2 USB-A and a 20-watt USB-C port. I decided to use double tape to attach it. I like that it's really slim and easy to hide under the desk. I placed the cord cover so the cable stays hidden behind the table leg. And then runs along the wall inside another cover. So I cleared everything off the table to start fresh. And here are all the cables from my setup, everything that needs to be organized. I started with my RGB mousepad, then the monitor stand, it has USB port, but I don't really use them. Next was the RGB laptop cooler, then the laptop itself, the monitor, and finally the PlayStation 5. The double tape idea didn't work out, so I decided to use screws instead and drill them into the desk to secure the power strip. The power strip was perfectly secured, and I also had a cable tray from before. With the power strip and cable tray ready, it was time to run the cables for my laptop, monitor and PlayStation. I have two HDMI cables, one for the laptop as a second screen, and the other one goes straight into the capture card, because I like streaming even when no one is watching. Then we connect another HDMI from the PlayStation to the capture card. That's how I stream games only from the PlayStation 5. The USB-C cable goes from the capture card to the laptop. I bought a USB hub, and that's where I'm going to connect the first cable. The keyboard and mouse will also go into the USB hub. And the microphone too. It's RGB as well. So basically all my devices have RGB lighting. The webcam has a light for streaming. So I'm plugging it straight into the laptop. The joystick needs some charge too. It's going to be connected to the power strip. Let's not forget about the mousepad. It's also RGB and will be connected to the power strip. I've got a cable clip that will hold the charging cable so I can easily charge my devices. The cooling pad was also connected to the laptop. Last one was the PlayStation Link USB adapter for the Pulse Elite. I didn't have any free USB ports left, so I had to rearrange the setup. Luckily, the microphone has two connections, USB and USB-C. I almost forgot about the lamp, and I don't really like it, and I will probably remove it from my setup later. After connecting the Ethernet cables to the laptop and PlayStation, let's take another look at how everything looks on top of the desk. To my surprise, all the cables were just enough to connect everything to the laptop and the hub, using every single USB port on both. Under the desk, I already arranged the cables so they don't get tangled. Now it's just about wrapping them with the cable ties. While you're watching this video, I just want to say, if you're enjoying my content, leave a comment, drop a like and subscribe. It really gives me a boost and keeps me motivated. There's a lot of tech content on the way. I also stream in the evenings on Twitch. My ID is the same as my YouTube channel name, TechnaRose. I'd be happy to see you there. As you can see, I use different colors of cable ties. Blue ones for devices like the keyboard, mouse and camera, and green ones for the power cables. The power cables and power strip part are done. Since I want to completely hide the cables, I did everything possible to make the setup organized and clean. I tied all the cables with red cable ties and hide some cables behind the monitor. Alright, let's take a quick look at how it looked before and how it looks now. Honestly, I'm really happy with the result. It was worth the time and effort. I've been wanting to do this for a long time and definitely recommend you try it too, guys. You probably thought I was done, but not yet. There was one more problem that really bothered me. The power outlet in my room kept shutting down the power, so I had to run a cable from another room. In this part of the video you will see how I did it. For that I needed a really long power strip, and luckily I had one. I also wanted to hide its cable, so I used the last materials I had to make everything look perfect and organized. I thought the thickness wouldn't fit the clips, cord covers and floor cover, but it turned out to fit really well. Now we've got power, and here's the final result. And thanks for watching it till the end. Leave some support if you did, and I hope to see you in the next one.